Hi everyone, so welcome to this video on circles. During this one, we're going to focus particularly on the area of a circle. I will do another video on how to calculate the circumference of a circle. So here are the key formulas that you need to know in relation to circles. We are going to be focusing particularly on area in this video. So the area of a circle is always pi times the radius squared. So if you're not sure what the radius is the distance from the edge of the circle to the center of the circle. Okay, now the diameter is always double the radius, it's always 2 times the radius. That's the distance from one side of the circle through the other going through the center of the circle. So sometimes they may give you questions where you need to turn the diameter, work from the diameter to the radius and vice versa when we're dealing with area or circumference questions. But for this particular video, we're just focusing on area. So here's your first question then. So I've got this circle, it's got a radius of 11.5 centimeters. I would like you to work out the area of it. Okay, so here is your answer to this then. So all we've got to do is pi times 11.5 squared. So if you were to type this in on a calculator, you would get this really long decimal number. And if you round that to 2 decimal places, we will get to 415.48 centimeters. And that's because you've got this 5 here for your third decimal place. So your second decimal place has got to increase from a 7 to an 8. Right, so let's have a look at this second question then. So this time the radius of the circle is 2.5 centimeters. I would like you to work out the area and I would like you to round your answer to one significant figure. Okay, let's go through this step by step then. So remember, area is pi times the radius squared. So if we do pi times 2.5 squared, you'll get 19.63495,408. That's your first, well, quite a lot of digits there. So you've got to round this to one significant figure now. So your first significant figure on this number is this number 19, is this number 1 here. So that's your first significant figure. Your second significant figure is this 9. So because that's a 9, this will round up to a 2 and we'll get 20 centimeters squared for this one. Okay, third one then, so slightly trickier now. I'm telling you the diameter of 8 centimeters squared, and I would like you to work out the area of this circle, but this time in terms of pi. Okay, so this is the sort of thing you might get on a non-calculator paper. So I'll see if you know how to do it first, but it's not as complicated as it sounds. Okay, so the process is still the same. This time, remember, we have got the diameter though, but if we half the diameter, you will get your radius, which is 4 centimeters there. Then all you've got to do is this, which is pi times 4 squared. And that will give you 16 pi centimeters squared. So all you're doing when you are doing it in terms of pi is you're just doing this part, and then you're writing your answer in front of pi. So you're writing it algebraically, essentially, because if you were to do it, there's an actual value, you would just do then 16 times by pi. So you're just writing that as 16 times pi centimeters squared. Okay, so we're now going to take a look at a few past paper questions relating to this topic. So here is your first one. So we've got this rectangle here that's 11 centimeters by 2.5 centimeters. We've then got a circle with a radius of 3 centimeters. So we want to all this question wanted to know was which one has the greater area, and they wanted you to use pi equals 3.1 for this. They wanted they wanted you to use pi to one decimal place, and obviously goes without saying you've got to show your working out for this question. Okay, so let's have a look at this step by step then. So your first step, you can use this as your first step, is 11 times 2.5. So that will tell you the area of the rectangle. Nice and straightforward, just base times height for that. Now circle, remember they wanted you to use 3.1, so you don't need to use your pi button. But if you do 3.1 times 3 squared, it's still pi times the radius squared. That gives you 27.9, and we can see there that the area of the circle is greater on that one. Okay, next question then, we've got a circle that is touching a square, and we're being told that the area of the square is 64 centimeters squared. So we want to know the area of the circle, and this is from a non-calculator paper, so it's asking you to do it in terms of pi. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So if the area of a square is 64 centimeters squared, if we square root that, that will tell us the side length of each, the length of each side on the square. So it's a square with side length 8 centimeters. But so what that tells us is, because this is 8 centimeters here on the left hand side, I'll just write that on. Because this is 8 here, that's the diameter of the circle. So if we half that, that will tell us the radius of the circle, which we do need to know for area. Then we've just got to do pi times 4 squared, which in terms of pi is 16 pi. So remember, 4 squared is 16, so it will be 16 pi centimeters squared for that one. Okay, next one then. So we've got two identical circles are inside a rectangle this time, as shown. We want to know the area of the shaded section. So quite a tricky question, this one actually. Quite a challenging one, this one. This is why I've left it till last. And we again would like to know this in terms of pi. Okay, let's have a look at the answer to this then. So if we do that 12 divided by 2, that will give you 6. So that tells you the diameter of each circle on this particular question. So that will be useful further down the line. And it also tells us the shorter side on the rectangle, which we do not currently know. So now we can do the area of the rectangle. So we've got 12 times 6 there, which is 72 centimeters squared. And now that we know that the shorter side of the rectangle is 6 and that the diameter of each circle is 6, we can half that to get the radius. So we've got 3 centimeters there. Then we can do pi times 3 squared times 2. So that will tell us the area of the two circles. And the reason I'm timesing by 2 there is because we've got those two identical circles. So that will be 18 pi centimeters. And then if you were to do this with the actual value, you would just take the area of the circle away from 72, and that will tell you the shaded area. But because we want it in terms of pi, we just have to write 72 subtract 18 pi centimeters squared, and that is all we can do if we are doing it in terms of pi. If we wanted to know the exact value, we would do 18 times pi and subtract that from 72. Okay, and that's it for this video. So thanks very much for listening. Please hit subscribe, and there'll be loads more content for you to help you with your GCSE Maths Foundation. Thanks very much. Bye bye.